Is Paul. Yes. You know, I just thought that I should mention that this idea of affecting my spirituality. Mhm. You know, I it doesn't work very well for me. You're really obligated to do what the law says. Now I can spell Witch. Yes. I could spell sorceress. Yeah. Evil. Ooch. I can spell a lot of words, but there's what's known as hate crimes. Yes. And I am the victim of hate crimes. Now, Carol Kirk. Yes. Trish Bedard is a superintendent, principal, and civil rights coordinator. Yes. Of a school district that is not a full school district because it's preschool through eighth grade. Yes. She's making $100,000 a year. And her husband, the coach that's been exploiting my sons. Yes. He's been helping himself to another 100,000 a year. And they're in the wrong grades, and you issued a protection order where none of the actual Violence Against Women's Act requirements, yes, were enforced. Now, I reprinted this off because I sent this to quite a few individuals. Yes. Now, KXLY, yes. And then Seattle Radio, ouch. And then Como News, Problem Solvers. And then, let's see, Seattle Radio, Northwest News Channel, News Tips. Poop. King County. And then all of those employees of King County. Yes. And then Joanna Bender, is it a Superior Court clerk? Yes. Then there's the Criminal Investigative Division of the United States Army. And you thought I was being really stupid? AMT. Those are Prior Cashman. Yeah, I emailed a lot of attorneys. Wayne Condit, yes. My uncle, ooch. My mother, ooh. Sandra Taylor, and my aunt Lori Argyle, poop. My sister Susan Bowers, Seattle FBI. Now, let's see. You decided to arrest me, yes, when I wasn't in Sequim, Washington, because I had informed you of violating my civil rights. Yeah. And you've been playing this confidence game where you just say that somebody's crazy. You did that when my wife filed for dissolution of marriage? Yes. And then I responded, yeah, but you arrested me at the same moment as serving me. And then she motioned the court for a default dissolution of marriage using the wrong last name, the wrong identity. And then I never got notice of court hearings. Right. And you decided that I was going to pay child support because you're in the family. And then Judge Rohr says, well, sure, we can decree a dissolution on the United Nations marriage certificate. But you made sure that I didn't get a copy of it. And then there's this whole idea of just reissuing protection orders. Yes. And you reissue them and you reissue them, but you make sure that I don't get actual notice of the court hearings. Yes. And then you issued them in 2011, where I wasn't a resident, they weren't residents, and I didn't get notice and opportunity to be heard. Well, Seattle FBI. I emailed you on September 21st of 2016. Yeah. The protection order was not issued according to the due process laws of the state of Washington. Now, I emailed on March 8th of 2016. Do I have to go to court today since the protection order violated the Violence Against Women's Act? And was not issued, that's why I forgot the word not, yes, to the due process laws where you have to give notice and opportunity to be heard, yes, and you have to have proof of service in the court file prior to having court hearings, yes. And if the petitioner does not appear in court and does not sign the protection order, then it is not valid. Now, this idea of the arrest was warrantless and violated my right to have a warrant for my arrest. See, when you don't issue court orders where they're issued according to the requirements of the VAWA, yes, it requires a warrant to arrest somebody and search and seize them. Yes. And then, are you sure the prosecuting attorney's office wants to proceed? Because I do not see how they could without causing myself and my family a whole lot of injury. Yes. Now, I said that on March 8th of 2016. Did you think prosecuting attorneys in each and every county of the United States and each state prosecuting attorney, yes, that I wouldn't sue every fucking one of you right now? As I had said on March 8th of 2016, I do not see how, yes, the prosecuting attorney's office would proceed with prosecuting me on the 8th day of March of 2016, harmless, yes, without it causing myself and my family a lot of injury. Now, if we look from 2016 until today, yes, approximately 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago, not only did you continue with the prosecution, yes, you had me put in jail for 27 days for a failure to appear, where you gave me 2 judicial days notice. Yes, you would not give me notice from the state of jurisdiction. Then you had a fraudulent mental health evaluation that said I was schizophrenic and bipolar. Poop. And then you released me because you said I was incompetent. Yes. And then you did it again. Ouch. And then you made me go to court for 16 more months. And then you had another fraudulent mental health evaluation. Ouch. And you said I was persecutory delusional. I'm thinking right now. Now, when you add up the total amount of injury that's been caused to myself, yes, my 5 sons, yes, right, Marilyn and her kids, yes, and numerous other individuals, it has caused myself and my family a lot of injury. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, you could have admitted the evidence, yes, that I wasn't in SQUIM. Right. You could have admitted the evidence that the protection order wasn't issued according to the requirements of the VAWA. You did not protect the right to due process for the respondent. Yes. The petitioner didn't sign it. Yes. And there's forgeries on it. Poop. Now, when you really think about the amount of injury you caused in the last 3 years, exactly when do you think you will stop causing injury? Now, as I said, I will be at the library until 10:30. As I said, yes, the protective order was not issued according to the VAWA provisions. The arrest was illegal. Illegal. You cannot probable cause the arrest without a valid protection order. Now, hi, Paul. Ooch. Monday, March 7th, 2016, Bruce Hannafy did write to me. I filed the motion to dismiss and have a response from prosecutors received today. Now, the response from the prosecutor was what? If I dislike the protection orders, yes. I could motion the court, yeah, because that's my only remedy. Pooch. Because in Clallam County, we never change our fucking minds. Now, what happened was I included an email for Bruce Hannafy that I had sent to Stan Myers, yes, the public defender that was my defense counsel during the arrest that took place in 2012. Yes. Now, I was found not guilty of violating the restraint provisions of the protection order that was illegally issued in 2011. Yes. And my record was expunged as soon as it was not guilty. Yes. And I told Stan on March 7th of 2016, Stan, it's Paul Budnick, yeah. You represented me during the trial in Clallam County when I was found not guilty. At that time, we did not see the significance of the Violence Against Women Act as it pertains to the rights of the respondent. See, when you issued it in 2012 without any notice or opportunity to myself, yes, it violated the requirements of the VAWA, yes, because you can't issue it, yes, and then serve somebody on Guam that's unable to travel until they have their passport. Now, as you well remember, I was arrested for the alleged violation of the protection order that was renewed without myself being served before the court reissued it. Yes, that would be that minute order that you decided to reissue it. Yes, while I was on trial. Now, that violated my rights as a respondent. Looking at the Violence Against Women's Act, the protection provisions guarantees that I can have arrested and can sue every individual involved in violating my rights as the respondent. That's what the VAWA does. It not only allows for probable cause arrest because of violating the restraint provisions of a protection order that is issued according to the requirements of the law, it allows me to have you arrested and sued every oath of office. Now, Stan, oh, I have emailed Bruce Hanafy, my public defender, and I have told the public defender office that I'm suing every attorney, as in attorney oaths, and employees in that office for violating my due process rights and my rights as a respondent. You can't just put, well, he didn't get notice, right? There was no actual attempt of service, right? There's forgeries of the ex officio Superior Court clerk, right? You can't just arbitrarily decide to do whatever you want to do right now. I cannot believe this. Now, since I informed the authorities in Clallam and Jefferson County of the illegality of issuing a protection order that does not have a petitioner without her signature, yes, there was no subject matter, choot choot, and there was no personal jurisdiction. Pooh. I was not served before the court hearing, as in 5 judicial days, yes, either in publication or personal service. You have to have personal service, yes, at least 2 attempts, right? Or by court order, you can put it in publication. Oh. Now it violates the VAWA, violates the state constitutions and the federal constitutional provisions of due process. Now, you would have thought that Stan, when he read this, he would have immediately seen how serious it is. Now, Stan, I've had the VAWA statutes violated about 10 times over the last 4 years and 8 months. And I'm going to sue every employee of the prosecuting attorney's office for continuing to perpetrate the violence against myself and my family. That means Mr. Cowgill, yes, Miss Cochran, yes, and Mr. Nichols, Mr. Halls, yes, Mr. Roberts. I'm going to sue every fucking